Welcome to The Wrap with me, Nicolaas Bauer. Simple news updates for busy people, brought to you by explain.co.za. Coming up, can South Africa pull together as the COVID-19 curve climbs? The government gets a lesson in rationality from the courts.
In reaction to this judgment, we are of the view that another court might come to a different conclusion on the matter.
America burns, but Trump is happy about the job numbers.
Hopefully George is looking down right now and saying there's a great thing that's happening for our country. There's a great day for him. It's a great day for everybody.
All that and more as we deliver your top stories of the past 7 days on The Wrap. We begin with South Africa's coronavirus crisis. The headlines have been dominated by anger over bans of cigarettes, open-toed shoe sales, and rotisserie chicken. But is that the debate we should be having as the country prepares for our peak of infections and the economic fallout of the lockdown begins? And that's not even beginning to talk about the heavy-handed actions from the police and army. South Africans have been rightly passionate about the unfolding Black Lives Matter protest in America over George Floyd's murder.
Our black brothers and sisters have embarked on a massive fight to reclaim their dignity. The killing of George Floyd has opened up deep wounds for all of us. But these are the wounds that our brothers and sisters in the United States live with.
But what about Collins Khoza, or the 10 other people that have lost their lives allegedly at the hands of security forces since the lockdown began? South Africa seems to love spectacle, but wringing our hands over the things making headlines lately should not be our focus as a nation, especially after 43,000 cases and more than 900 deaths thus far from COVID-19. Our actual readiness to deal with this pandemic is the real story here. If South Africa is going to survive this pandemic, we need unity of purpose before we bicker over how lockdown has ended the lives we used to live. We must put all of our attention towards flattening the curve and holding officials to account over the things that really matter.
We are still facing the storm ahead. And I think South Africans need to be aware that we have actually eased the restrictions and the lockdown. But that doesn't mean that COVID-19 has eased. It's actually worsened. And therefore, the impact thereof is going to be worse.
Government is even having its focus drawn to where it's needed. You've probably heard by now about the damning judgment on lockdown regulations delivered earlier this week by the North Gauteng High Court. It declared almost all the rules issued by Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma in terms of the Disaster Management Act invalid and unconstitutional. It gave government 14 days to change the regulations.
Cabinet has therefore decided to appeal the North Gauteng High Court decision. Cabinet also approved the extension of the national state of disaster by another month from the 15th of June to the 15th of July 2020.
Long story short, a bunch of legalese means you still need to obey the lockdown level 3 rules. And with government appealing the ruling, it may just be dead in the water. So for now, still no cigarettes, no salons, no gyms, and no entertainment centres. And we're still expected to stay at home as much as possible. Yes, I'm talking about you with the social distancing braai. No, not yet. In your anything but COVID-19 news, Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane is expected to drop the findings of an investigation into Herman Mashaba for alleged wrongdoing during his time as Joburg mayor. The investigation comes as Mashaba releases his own book uncovering alleged corruption committed by the ANC-run administration before he took over in 2016. We kick off the international update with the mass protests across every state of the USA. Over 100 American cities have seen violent clashes with police in response to the murder of George Floyd by cop Derek Chauvin a fortnight ago. Not only do African Americans still live in areas with the worst schools, the worst healthcare, and the worst jobs, but Floyd's harrowing death reinforces the reality that different rules apply when it comes to the civil rights of black people in the USA.
They gonna kill me, man.
How long y'all gotta hold him down?
Why we don't do drugs, kids? It ain't about drugs, bro. Y'all understand that?
Y'all don't gotta put y'all right.
While this incident has opened deep wounds around racial inequality, it also puts a spotlight on specific problems in the US policing system. For a developed country, America is a seriously dangerous place. 50 police officers lose their lives in the course of duty every year, policing a nation awash with guns and ammunition. Research shows American police have tried to answer violence with violence, resulting in cops that are heavily armed and trigger-happy across the country. The results? Around 1,000 people die at the hands of the police in the USA every year. The Obama administration tried to bring critical reforms to this sector, amounting to some 18,000 law enforcement agencies across America. But that fight for change was met by fierce opposition by the nation's notoriously powerful gun lobby and other interest groups. Donald Trump has spent his first term undoing a lot of that work on police reform too. So what you see now is in many ways what America has seen before: violent clashes between citizens and police, amid calls for a more humane and just society. In the meantime, President Trump reckons George Floyd might just be looking down and smiling because the US unemployment rate fell to 13.3% in May from 14.7% in April. Yeah, right.
We all saw what happened last week. We can't let that happen. Hopefully George is looking down right now and saying there's a great thing that's happening for our country. There's a great day for him. It's a great day for everybody. This is a great day for everybody. This is a great, great day in terms of equality. It's really what our Constitution requires, and it's what our country is all about.
Meanwhile, Facebook has also raised some serious eyebrows this week.
We don't want to be determining what is true and false. It doesn't mean that that politicians or anyone else can just say whatever they want. And our policies are grounded in trying to give people as much a voice as possible.
Hundreds of Facebook employees staged a virtual walkout after its CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, decided not to do anything about controversial social media posts from Donald Trump himself. While Twitter has started labeling Trump's tweets for glorifying violence and not telling the truth, Facebook has said it doesn't want to play judge with what people say online. It's a little bit late for that, don't you think? In international COVID-19 news, Sweden had to defend its no-lockdown policy this week as they recorded the highest number of corona deaths in Scandinavia. The nation of only 10 million has recorded almost 5,000 deaths, while next door in lockdown Norway and Denmark, only 250 and 600 people have lost their lives respectively. Something to keep in mind as many nations move to end lockdown restrictions in the weeks to come. And if you thought South Africa was the only place with a really bloated cabinet, Israel just announced that it will have a government with 34 ministries for a country of only 10 million people.
אנחנו מבקשים משרי הממשלה וגם מחברי הכנסת לשמש דוגמה, להקפיד על הכללים.
Benjamin Netanyahu is sharing power there with opposition leader Benny Gantz. And as part of a coalition government including 8 political parties, there are many positions to keep people happy. As an example, there's now a Ministry for Social Services, Social Empowerment, and Social Equality, whatever that means. That's it from The Wrap, brought to you by Explain.co.za. Don't forget to show the love online and subscribe. Big ups to Arti, Romy, and Varashni for helping me put this together. From myself, Nicolaus Bauer, Hambani Gahle.